Before we get to the real desperate slop, let's just go ahead and, look on the brighter side of life. At least, one of the animated classics, one of the all-time greats, the Aristocats, the Aristocats, rather, isn't going to be getting the live-action treatment from Disney because they learned a lesson from Snow White. It wasn't that, we need to stop doing live-action remakes. Obviously, Lilo and Stitch proved that is a very, very lucrative business still. No. Snow White just proved that, doing all these live-action remakes of all of this old stuff, no, people don't want that. They want the new stuff. They want the stuff their parents remember. They want recognizable faces. Even though, back when I was growing up, because, born 1990, right? So right in the heart of the Disney Renaissance, but it also had all of those, big clamshell VHS tapes, and we had the Aristocats. Why do I want to keep saying that? Just because it's kind of genius titling. And I watched the heck out of this. It's really good. I kind of like it. It's obviously not going to be, in the same pantheon of any of my favorite Disney films, but I still liked it. There's quite a lot of charm to there. And so I am at least a little bit thankful that this one is going to be spared the creativity axe, at least for the moment. But then again, they also said that a live action to Tangled, that's definitely not going to be happening. So don't worry, they still got to get around to Hercules, and that one's going to hurt my soul quite a bit. The Aladdin one did, especially, replacing the legendary Robin Williams with that cuck Will Smith. It's like, oof. But if they do Hercules dirty, that's going to be really bad. But hey, let's go ahead and abandon all hope, because Greta Gerwig's Narnia movie has finally begun filming, starring Emma Mackey, Daniel Craig, Carey Mulligan, and a gender-swapped Aslan, Meryl Streep. Yeah, that's the tacit confirmation that, Aslan's a girl now. Great. As if us long-suffering Chronicles of Narnia fans haven't been, raked over the coals long enough. Disney failed to do it, to adapt C.S. Lewis's magnum opus appropriately, and now they're handing it over to a untalented hack feminist. Fantastic stuff. Yeah, releasing is supposed to be a next Thanksgiving, right? Thanksgiving 2027 is supposed to be getting a short theatrical release. I'll just, I'll believe it when I see it. Well, that's sort of a lie, because I'll believe it. I just am never going to see this. But some more slop that's pouring out of the sludge pipe. Cruella 2. Oh, good. Because we need more of the backstory of the evil puppy killer. How she went from misunderstood and aspiring fashionista to head of her own fashion empire, and her relentless pursuit for killing puppies, because we know why she has, a visceral hatred of Dalmatians, because those CGI abominations pushed her mother off of a cliff. I wish I was making that up, but we really need to. We really need to properly sympathize with Cruel Devil, because there's no such thing as good and evil. It's just simply shades of gray. Why do you think Snoop Dogg was so loud, proud, and unabashedly correct about his critique of Lightyear? I don't want to have to talk about this shit with my kids. I just want to go watch a movie. I don't want to have to discuss the ethical implications of attempting to enact a little doggo genocide. What are you doing? Just when you thought that would end up being the worst, you take a look at another bit of cinematic and, to be fair, literary history, and that would be The Wizard of Oz, okay? And Hollywood has been milking this dry for decades. How many interpretations? How many sequels, spin-offs, reinterpretations? Christ almighty, you got the second part of the Wicked musical coming out in the fall. They just cannot let sleeping dogs lie. But because that name is out there in the zeitgeist right now, why wouldn't they? Why wouldn't they try to run back a Wizard of Oz? But thankfully, this was an abandoned idea, okay? Kenyon Barris, Richard Pryor biopic is a 10-episode series. New Wizard of Oz is set in Inglewood. Oh, Christ, it's a Wonderful Life remake, has POC lead. I'm still a believer in IP. Yep, making everything all black. You would think that this would be, a Jordan Peele production. But yeah, man, if you're doing a Richard Pryor biopic, I mean, you're probably the right guy for the job. But if you're going to be doing an all-black cast for The Wizard of Oz and set it in Inglewood, like, the fuck are you doing, mate? Come up with your own ideas. It's a Wonderful Life remake, but depicting an intact black family around Christmas. Yeah, it truly is a work of fiction. But thankfully, this is another project that has been, very much scuttled. Not too sure about the Wonderful Life remake, but the Wizard of Oz one, yeah, that has been shelved, mostly because somebody else has taken up the Wizard of Oz IP, mostly because, it is one of MGM's most cherished IPs. And we all know who's in control of MGM and their IPs now, and that would be Amazon. Prime Video does in fact have a strategy for The Wizard of Oz, and that is turning it into a television show, or at least a long-form series, whatever we're calling this stuff at this point in time. And instead of doing something faithful or timeless to the source material. We're gonna go ahead and update it for the modern audience. I wanna fucking die. Contemporary Wizard of Oz series, Dorothy, in the works at Prime Video from Gwen Stefani, Blake Shelton, and creator Gina Matthews. Oh my god, dude, I cannot think of anything less appetizing than this. The series, which Matthews created and will produce under her Little Engine label, is a contemporary music-infused young adult retelling of the Wizard of Oz based on L. Frank Baum's books, using the Yellow Brick Road as a metaphor for the challenges facing young adults today. Oh, God, I remember when we used to get cringe shit like this, but it was like after school specials about saying no to drugs, not probably some fucking heavy-handed trans allegory. Non-writing executive producers for the project include Gwen Stefani, Lucky Horseshoes, Blake Shelton, and Lee Metzger, and Little Engine's Grant Sharbo, as well as Patrick Morin. Yeah. Whatever, man. I've been in love with the Wizard of Oz books since I was a child, says Matthews. The story reminds us of the qualities we need to get through hard times, and Dorothy is a symbol of strength, who shows us that with a little bit of kindness and a lot of grit, we can not only achieve great things, but we can lift up those around us. Yeah, but the story of the Wizard of Oz is... No, I'm just drawing off of the movie because that's what I've seen. I haven't read the books, but it's amazing for a movie that came out in 1939 how well the visuals still hold up. It's just, it's such a marvel of movie making. That's why people are still talking about it all this time later. But it also shows that even if you have inadequacies in other areas, you can still excel. The team is simply greater than the sum of its parts. But no, it's all about Dorothy because that's what we need to do, right? The Wizard of Oz only simply appeals to the young girls, right? Okay. I'm really excited to work with this creative team, Moron says. I'm such a fan of everyone involved, and I couldn't ask for a more exciting partnership as we reinvent this cherished IP. Ugh, whenever I see that stuff, I get physically ill. Adds Sharbo, we're thrilled to embark on this journey with Amazon and believe Dorothy will enchant a whole new generation of viewers. We're really excited about all the possibilities the show brings, and I'm so grateful that Gina shared this idea with me and Lee, said Blake Shelton. I knew right away that it was something Gwen would connect with. Her creativity and perspective are such a natural fit for the project. It's a creative and modern take on the classic, and being part of something that blends music, emotion, and characters of Dorothy is inspiring to me. Yeah, it's just, once again, man, there is nothing sacred, there is nothing safe at this point in time. And yes, Wizard of Oz as a story, as a collection of stories, has been pilfered for a long time. This one, though, it might end up being the most insufferable of them all. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.